So I ask you this. Of all the things you observed this weekend, it's a time, like I said, for all those things. But it's also a time for overreactions. And it's human nature. I can't deny it. We all fall victim of overreacting. And it's going to happen, Danny G, within the next week in the NFL. I'm a bigger NFL fan than I am college, like by far.
Same.
And you know what's going to happen? Couple premier teams are going to lose week one, and the narrative is going to be like, my goodness, did their window close, or did they not have it this year? And some trash team's going to win. I remember what it was last year. The garbage Saints. Remember they started like 2-0? And everyone's like, man, maybe they're not so bad. And I was, no, they're bad.
Oh, they were better than 2-0.
I think they started.
Yeah, they started off pretty strong.
But anyway, I want to go over the overreactions and which ones you think, well, maybe they aren't overreactions. Like, is Kalen DeBoer just not the answer in Alabama? I mean, they're already saying, get this guy out of here. If you look back to last year, last 3 games, they were 1-2. 13.5-point favorites over Florida State, who looked like doo-doo pie last year. I mean, you got to maybe credit Florida State for turning around that program quick, but we're talking 2 touchdown favorites, and the narrative was that this team is soft. Run defense, run offense, everything. Alabama just wasn't playing with any gusto, no heart. And
when it comes to Alabama, aside from all that, the viral thing was the meme of the year. It was like a meme was born, and it's some jabroni holding up his middle finger. Looks like my brother-in-law, Chris. Looks just like a sad college football fan. And
is that the new face of Alabama?
I think it goes with your point, though. It's like meme of the year. Meme is born. Just started. Season just started. That's why everybody needs to get a grip here, Aerosmith style. Get a grip. 877-99 on Fox. When the NFL season starts, we do something called Things That Made You Go, right? Basically your observations in the world of football, just all around in the weekend. This weekend, because NFL's not even here yet, we're going to talk about, hey, are we moving too soon here? Can you really make any assessment in the first week? Like, one of my favorite headlines, Rich, over the weekend was Arch Manning. This is a legit. Well, I think it was a Barstool headline.
It's a
if
legit
you want
headline,
to consider
yeah.
that legit,
It
but
is.
you know they come with a sense of humor.
Yeah, which is why I love Barstool.
Yeah. But it is Barstool, right? So a lot of people saw it. It is legitimate, but you know who's behind it, right? The headline was, I think he's ass. Or something like that.
Covino texted me. Covino texted me, and I wasn't sure if it was his observation or a topic for today's show.
Yeah.
He wrote, Arch Manning, ass cheeks, question mark? And
Arch Manning is cheeks, meaning the bad kind. Hold on. I got to find you the actual headline because it was really funny. But again, are we really moving too soon? Can you really make an assessment is how I feel about this. But that's the narrative we run with as fans. Oh, here it is. It's a picture of Arch Manning, right? And it says, might be ass. And that's what everybody was quick to jump on. The game wasn't even over yet, dude. That's what I mean about like, yo, we're really jumping the gun. The game it wasn't even halftime, and the headline was he might be ass.
I know what you guys are saying, but in fairness to fans and media, you can only react to what's in front of you at the moment.
Right.
I mean, that is true.
And that's absolute fact. We need to keep that in mind. It's like, hey, this is all we got to work with right now, right? But that made me laugh. I was on the treadmill watching this. And by the way, just to paint a picture, we're out here in Los Angeles. And
were you running as lackluster as Alabama's run game on the treadmill?
I almost had a moment. Did
you put the speed on high?
In L.A., I don't want to stereotype or paint in broad strokes as I paint this picture, but for whatever reason, it's not like give me a good sports city. Give props. St. Louis, Chicago,
New York,
Boston, New York, where if you're at the gym or at the bar, everybody's glued to that game. I had to have someone, can we put college football on? Why are we watching news channels?
It is the one thing.
It drives me bonkers. You're at a gym, you would think that it's part of their requirement as an employee. Like, hey, if there's something big going on, throw it on for our customers. Like, no one cares.
Yeah.
And
Listen,
it's just the vibe of Los Angeles sometimes.
I love living out here in Los Angeles, but it is one of those disconnects, and we've been out here a decade now, But you go to maybe it's because we don't go to like a high-end gym. I go to 24-hour fitness across the
It's
street.
probably because the people that get $8 an hour don't care.
Yeah,
That's
but
probably
we're
why.
at 24-hour fitness, and you don't know how many times I've had to say, can you put something on?
But it's a gym, right? So you would think that there's some like-minded people that want to be on the treadmill, watch some sports or whatever. They should know what's going on. Same with the local bar. You think John Taffer has any patience for going into a bar and they don't have the game on or a game on? So I actually went out of my way. I said, hey, can you put on? I saw the headline. He might be ass. I want to see how this game wraps up. Can you put on the game? And I had the game on. Some old guy, true story. Tell me if this is legit or not.
Yeah.
Some old guy he had quitters on. You know what quitters are?
Oh.
Tube socks that were down to his ankles because they were like the elastic was done, so they quit on him years ago, and he's still rocking them.
I've had these since 87.
Some old guy with quitters and a headband, like it looked like a L.A. hobo, comes into the gym, and he brought his own remote control. Like, let's say it's DirecTV. I don't know what they use at the gym. He had his own DirecTV from his house or whatever, control, pulls it out of his bag, and he starts changing the channel of the TV that I was watching, bro. I was ready to get off my treadmill and give him a karate kick to the sternum, but I realized he was really old.
Is that even allowed?
Dude, that's what I was saying. Is that
I think it's sort of a baller move.
Dude, I can't. Well, I get it.
Are you sure you weren't exercising next to the owner of the gym?
I felt this guy because he probably went in there one too many times and he was like, I've had enough. And he's like, he took matters into his own hands, brought his own control because no one cares there.
It's really funny.
And, I had to look at him and be like, yo, I'm watching this. And I gave him a friendly look and he realized, so he went to another TV and changed that channel. I was like, thank goodness. But the point here is, Arch Manning, is he ass or not? That's the point.
Well, the point is the overreactions we're all going to make.
Right.
But you can just simply
How
say
about this one?
Ohio State's defense is elite. But I will say that while some were glued, again, I'm more of an NFL guy. Can't watch every game, but I did set the DVR and said, all right, I'm going to skim through this one. It is Texas. It is Ohio State. But I realized I start coaching my kids on the weekend soon for fall sports. And I said, it's the last one that I could have to myself. So I went to go play softball with my buddies. And one of the guys goes, anyone interested in hearing the score of Texas, Ohio State at halftime? And people are like, yeah, I guess so. Yeah, a lot of guys were DVRing it. 7-0 Ohio State. We're like, whoa, wait. What's Arch Manning doing? It really was.
Well, if
it
you
really
were
was
watching, right?
disappointing if you thought it was going to be Arch Manning on display.
I was reading the subtitles at the gym before old man McGirt changed the channel on me. Old man Clemens came in and said, I hate Ohio State. They wouldn't let the leash off him. It's like, let him off the leash, let him do his thing, let him throw. And by the time they let him do that, the game was over. It's like, yeah, why didn't you let him do that in the beginning of the game?
But he looked flustered for a lot of the game.
But that's Ohio State's defense, right?
Well, there were a lot of Uncle Rico gifs and memes coming out because of his throwing motion on a few of those passes. So
I kind of hate that too, and it is noticeable. But he comes from a good line of quarterbacks. I don't know. You know what? It's insane to see how much goes into the quarterback throwing angle and arm positioning and all these little things we would never think of. And when you watch Hard Knocks, you got to see what they go through with Josh Allen and all the QBs there as far as just angle and efficiency and all these things. And everyone thinks they know everything. But
the same way
he didn't play his best game.
The same way you see rookie quarterbacks struggle when they enter the NFL. And maybe we were wrong to think Arch Manning, I know he played last year. We watched him last year, but not all the time, obviously. He had a couple games and Ewers was hurt. Did we expect Arch Manning to come in and just light up Ohio State, who's a really good team? Maybe we just were mesmerized and almost glamored a little bit by just the name Manning.
Of course.
Now's the time. We were last week before he even made his season debut. The minute Micah Parsons left for Green Bay, we were like, oh, there's a narrative that Dallas might, just tank for Arch.
We build a story to tear it down. That's just the culture that we live in, and we've been building up this story of oh, Cooper, his run fell short. He could have been the greatest of all the Mannings, and he was a great receiver, and this is his son carrying on the name, and everybody loves the story. So
yeah, but Texas came in ranked number
one. I know,
so
but
there you go. I mean, Manning's not the whole story here. He's
right.
not the team.
It was 1 versus 3.
That's true.
Yeah.
But that's a sexy name to tune in for, no doubt. And you've been hearing about it so long. So is it a matter of he's ass, he's cheeks, or Ohio State's defense was great? Are we overreacting?
Right.
That's really what we are getting at.
So
are we overreacting? The other thing.
Yeah, let's go over what is the biggest
The
overreaction.
C.J. Daniels catch. Are we
that was-
overreacting?
I don't know. That was sick.
Okay, it was sick, and it's made other NFL players famous overnight.
Odell Beckham Jr.
That was very
He
reminiscent.
lived for years off of that one catch.
It really was.
I'm not saying he was a bad wide receiver by any means, but Odell Beckham Jr., his whole legacy is based off of some circus catches, one in particular that...
Dude, if God gives you, or if life gives you a moment, run with it for as long as you can. Look, I hit 27 Little League home runs. I ran with that all the way to the Dan Patrick Show. Okay?
Ran in past tense. No, you're still running.
I'm still running with that.
Yeah.
That's my point. And look at me. I'm in for DP.
All because of those Little League home runs?
That gave me a sense of false confidence, and it gave me some chatter, and I ran with it. OBJ had that moment, and yeah, he was a great receiver, but he leaned into that for as long as he could, as he should. And the C.J. Daniels catch was very close to that. So here's why I bring it up, though, Rich. It was one of the highlights, but remember the theme. Arch Manning, C.J. Daniels. What they're saying is that the catch of the year?
Well,
can you have the catch of the year in the first game?
It reminds me of when you come in January.
Or are we overreacting?
No, in like January or February when Covino's like, fight of the year. I'm like, the year just started.
Nah, that's a good point. But sometimes you see some magic right off the bat.
Early
You're
on.
like, you can't top that. Like, are we going to look back at this season and say, yeah, that was it, and it was week 1, and C.J. Daniels had the play of the year? If it put OBJ on the map the way that it did, we still remember it. We still talk about it.
Roll with it, kid.
Yeah, he's got to lean into it, milk it for what it's worth. You're the OBJ of college football. We might have seen the play of the year in week 1.
Well, what was your big overreaction? What do you think it is? Is it Kalen DeBoer in Alabama?
I think the overreaction is Arch Manning's ass.
Yeah,
maybe Ohio State's defense. Maybe they're just really good.
I think
there's a lot of pressure on this kid.
Hold on.
I don't think he's ass.
Hold on, pal. Let's look at Texas.
I think it's funny, and I think we all thought, man, he's ass. But I think it's way too soon to make that assessment.
Arch Manning, 17 for 30, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, 170 yards. How do you think he's going to fare this coming Saturday against San Jose State when Texas is favored by 37 points? So
we'll be watching.
He's about to put up circus numbers, and Texas went into week 1 ranked number 1.
Yeah, but college football fans are not going to respect that until it's up against one of the real contenders.
Danny, you're 100% right, but I think now he'll have a moment to start padding those stats, and I'll tell you when people will start caring. They'll start caring first weekend of October when they play Florida or when they play Oklahoma the weekend after. But the next couple weeks,
you know what I noticed too?
It's time for Arch Manning to get loose, play some lower level teams. But overreaction, Arch Manning's ass. Overreaction or not, Kalen DeBoer in Alabama over before it sort of even started.
C.J. Daniels catch of the year first week. I don't think that's an overreaction. I think that play, like I said, it made other NFL stars superstars overnight. I don't think that's an overreaction. It was a really great snag.
Yeah, I think
was it a snag, a grab, or a
snag?
It was a snag.
Yeah, a stretched out snag.
Yeah, it was.
I think that's probably the one thing where we will look back at week 1 and be like, yeah, that still stands.
I agree.
out.
I don't think that's an overreaction. So, what were your overreactions that you noticed over the weekend? Something else that I just noticed, and by the way, the number's 877-99 on Fox, at Covino and Rich, at Fox Sports Radio. Rich, I feel like there's a lot of people in our demo, if not people listening that live this life already, where you're living that dad life of running around, taking your kid to travel league, and you're just trying to be super dad, trying to do 1,000,001 things. You're trying to maintain your house. You're trying to rake the leaves, mow the lawn. You're trying to coach the team, but you're also trying to like have a nice barbecue and watch the game or whatever. You just got so many things going on. You can't be at all these places. Like Ohio State played a big game this weekend, and I know my brother-in-law, who's the biggest fan ever, couldn't even watch it because he was at his kid's game. And that's got to be like tough when you only live so strong for that one team. Like that's my brother-in-law's team, and I understand your kid comes first. That's obvious. But that is like, damn, I can't even watch them beat Arch Manning in this way.
Well, to me, that's why the
like
NFL,
such a tough balance.
The NFL on Sundays, we have been conditioned, and probably because I didn't grow up in a college football town. I grew up in New York. You grew up in Jersey. Danny out here in L.A.
That's my point. Like,
Listen,
these college games are so big. Everyone matters so much. But this was such a rivalry, and my brother's there, like, my brother-in-law's giving orange slices to his kid, missing the whole thing.
Playing flag football with his son.
Yeah,
But Danny,
and that's, again, those moments. I'm not downplaying those moments. I'm just saying, like,
yeah, but that's
you wait all year just to watch that game, and you can't even watch it.
I mean, I know there's USC and UCLA, and there's college
I was
football.
going to say,
out here.
I grew up with the Pete Carroll Trojans.
Yeah,
so
but to me, like where we grew up, no one cared about college football even slightly compared to the NFL.
No.
It was a big deal here in Southern California because of Reggie Bush and
Of course.
and that Trojan
But
squad.
I'm saying, like, when you look at, like Covino said, let's be honest, if you're a family man, have kids, even, in any circumstance, to me, Sunday is mentally reserved for NFL football. Wives, husbands, kids, people sort of acknowledge, like, Sunday. It's also a church day, so there's people that go to church. Like, it's almost a day of rest/football, right?
Yeah, but if your kids
Saturday?
have something important going on, there's that struggle of,
It is very tough.
I can't even sit back and watch the games today.
It is very tough if you're a family man
You
to
feel
say
like a selfish little bee.
Saturday
I
is
just
like
want to
fun.
sit around and watch the game.
It's impossible.
Now I got to go to the game. Now I got to go to my kid's game. You feel like a little bee.
You do?
You do, because the right thing is just to go to your kid's game, and it's great. I'm not saying that's not fun. It's fun, and it's mandatory.
No, I like that more than football.
Yeah, of course, but there's this like, oh, man, I waited all year just to watch this game. I can't even watch it.
That's why
I noticed a lot of that.
You
I
guys
noticed
aren't-
that with a lot of my friends and
You
families
guys
this
aren't real
weekend.
football fans, man. This is why my kid does taekwondo on Wednesdays.
No, I'm serious. Like, I'm like, I'm at the gym watching Ohio State. The biggest Ohio State fan I know can't even watch it. And it's not the same. You can't watch it later. Social media ruins everything.